What's good? Like, share, subscribe. You're rocking with the one only czar for Christ. Let's talk about it. Shout out to the greatest nation since United Nations. All right, Biden, let's get into it. Now, the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, I see you're making comments that are deeper about it. Well, first off, I got to thank you for taking over this subject. Kamala didn't know what she was talking about. That's what it is. Kamala was idiotic on it. She had no presence of anything, no premise of understanding. Did she even visit it yet? Did you check her on did she visit it yet? She's over here arguing. Okay, let's take this moment. While she's over here arguing about abortion type subjects about what comments Trump made, which won't change the presidency, let's have a talk on something that will. Sir, you're running for your second term, okay? You understand that Trump was about to build a wall. I get you. I heard now I look back at your point. I get that. I get your response. I'm understanding it now. See, I'm open-minded. Objective criticism, okay? I understand. But let's talk about it. Now, here's what people saying. How are you going to handle it? You don't want to build the wall. Fine. I'm not saying it has to be. But how are you going to handle it, sir? That's what I'm confused on. What are you going to do different? Now, reading the article that it's here, that's going to be posted below, I'm trying to understand. They're not even getting anything from you. They're just getting your statement, okay? They're getting the fact that now, finally, in 2024, you say, okay, there's something that's going to be done about the U.S. border. But you said you're going to shut down the border. And I agree with the people in the... This time, I got to agree with the news article. They're like, what are you talking about? How are you going to shut down the border then? They're like, what are you going to do? Sir, one thing I'm saying, because Mexico can't seem to get control of the cartel or anything going on. That's the first thing you need to establish before we're shutting borders down. If we're going to call ourselves allies to anyone around us, we need to make sure that they have what they need to do what they got to do, okay? They need to get control of that. They got renegades running rampant, doing whatever, whenever, anything happening. And you still can't stop the transfer of things into the U.S. Now, the reason I think you need to really think on this, sir, what does shut down the border mean? Think about that. What do you mean? You're saying, listen, you need to get the people from them that want to come over. It needs to be something in place that allows them to come over safely and keep out the bad, okay? What's the problem with keeping out the bad? What's crazy to me is that in this country, they are so good at setting things up to keep the poor out of certain things, to keep the people who are unfavorable, sightly, to out of places. You have a contingency plan for everything to keep people out, but you have nothing developed to think of. I get you don't want to build a wall. So what are you going to do then? Are you going to figure out? There's one or two ways you're either thinking it is. Either you're going to wipe out the cartel, finally, like you should have done it from start one. Yo, from day one, you should have talked with Mexico. Y'all should have teamed up and just slaughtered these dudes because they're wicked people. When there's evil people, God tells you descend upon them with the same method they use. Like that. He doesn't want them to live like that. They're consistently taking innocent lives. Just end them. You act like it's a big deal. They're not that important. They're not that powerful. End them. But we know you can't, be honest. Because part of the reason these different militias exist is through the creation of resources being moved to certain parts of the earth in a certain way, low key, indiscriminately, to value and benefit at one point in time. Therefore, what am I saying? Therefore, at one point in time, what they did benefited you. Now that it doesn't benefit you guys, you're ready to discard them. Go, go, go. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, now you're playing the fact that they were okay at one point. Now you don't help us. Keep this in mind because you guys used certain means to get things done. And I'm not going to bring up the other one, in Israel. We don't want to even talk about that. Palestine, Israel, that conflict, because we know how different militias were created. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But my thing is, with this situation, there's a little bit more you got to do here, sir. There's more here because there's innocent people trying to get peace. What is it? What's Mexico's trouble with giving their society strength? Are they that weak? Do they have that? So are they missing a backbone like that? That they can't keep the peace or control any militia or organizations in their country? They're that weak. Mexico's that weak. They can't go down and be like, yo, no, it's not that. It's because there's, guys, the reason Mexico themselves can't end it is the same reason we can't do certain things that we want to do. Because when you had dibble and dabble in it and it benefited you at one point, now that it doesn't, you don't, you're like, should I discard it or not? Because just in case you need it again. That's what I'm saying. You guys are thinking for self as a governing state, but you're supposed to think for the people in the first place. Put the people first. That's how you're able to do it. We, the people. Okay? This is what I'm saying. These are the type of subjects that need to be talked about like this. But we already know Kamala Harris was not built to do this. We know certain situations that she isn't even studied on what's going on the border. She failed to answer any questions in debates when it came to the U.S.-Mexico border. She failed you there. So she needs educated there. If she's going to run beside you, sir, she got to get educated on that. Why is she so dumbfounded on that stuff? Ma'am, I'm not saying you had to go down there. If maybe you didn't feel safe, okay. Because it's a lot going on. People don't get it. I know. I get that. There's a lot going on. You didn't want to go down. I'm with you. But you need to make a decision that doesn't disenfranchise the lives of innocent people. That means that you need to talk to Mexico and say, look, you got some renegades running around. It's fine. We need to make a plan. We need to go in and figure out how we're getting out these people. You need to think like a delegate, like a president. Yo, my guy. Oh, my. Thank you, Jesus. You need to think as a leader. Galatians chapter 3, verse 18. Listen to me. There is no precedence that God puts on a person at all. You need to figure out what needs to be done, sir. And you got to do it like a president. You got to do it equally. One nation under God. All rights reserved.